What is going on, everybody? Today we are back in the Heart of Gilienor to showcase how you can Afk Vindicta and Gorvek. Make sure to hit the like, subscribe, and the notification bell so you guys know when I upload methods like this next. So if you're ready, make sure you grab your gear. Let's dive in. As for the requirements to make this an AFKable method, first off, you will need at least 80 plus attacks so you can actually start an instance with Vindicta. That is a strict requirement in order to be able to face the boss. 90 plus combat skills, we will be using necromancy, so 90 necro, 90 defense, and 90 constitution. 107 herblers, so you can use elder overload salves. 98 plus archaeology for the certain relic powers we will be using. 92 plus prayer, since we will be using deflect magic. 85 plus invention for our ancient gizmos for the perks on our gear. Our full necromancy tree unlocked for our revolution bar. As for the quest, we will be using animate dead, so you will need desert treasure quest completed along with the temple at Centestin for our ancient curses. The only recommendations I have is 112 plus invention, so you can use potion reservoirs, so you can make this a super AFKable method. After that, I put down a legendary pet. If you have a full reputation, a legendary pet will pick up every single item that Vindicta and Gorvek do drop. But if you do not have a legendary pet, of course, you can bring a DPS familiar if you really like, if you want to try to kill Vindicta and Gorvek a little bit faster. As for the gear, we will be using 3 pieces of the crippling armor with the helm, gloves, and the boots, along with 2 pieces of the tier 90 death dealer set, with that being the robe top and the robe bottom. As for the aura, for this setup we will be using the penance aura, but if you don't have the penance aura, use the vampirism aura with some powder of penance. It does eat into your cost by a lot, so if you have the penance aura, let's use that here. As for the cape, I'm running with the max cape in this. The necromancy cape does give you additional necromancy stats, but it does not do any effect since we will not using the death skulls ability with our revolution bar. As for the necklace, the amulet of souls, if you guys don't know, it gives a 10% boost to your deflect curses. Since we will be using deflect magic here, that's going to be super helpful. Again, if you have the EOF, the essence of finality, you can also bring that here. It's just a little bit more expensive to use over the hour. As for the ring slot, we will be using the cultist ring since we will have finger of death in our reroll bar, and it gets used pretty often, so having the extra chance of getting your necrosis stacks is super helpful. In our ammo slot, we do have our grasping rune pouches, which has all of the runes that we need to cast animate dead. For our weapons, we have the tier 90 weapons. If you want faster kill times, of course, use the tier 95s. As for our pocket slot, we have the underworld grimoire. The main reason why we are using that is because all the drops that you picked up that are bones go straight to your storage down in the city of at the ritual site, and it also saves on a lot of costs when it comes to using the god books. As for the inventory, we have our potion reservoirs, our elder overload salves to go inside of that, our nexus, so it holds all of our ectoplasm, the spring cleaner, enhanced excalibur, and the ancient elven ritual shard. As for the perks, if you have something better, of course, use them. For the augmented death dealer robe top, we have crystal shield 4, absorber 4. That is super key on almost anything that is possibly AFKable within the game. For the robe bottoms, we have enhanced devoted 4, since we will be using deflect magic. That comes super key during the smoke phases during the fight. As for the skull lantern, I was using eruptive 4. It is not mandatory, but it does do additional ability damage. As for the death guard, we do have aftershock 2 on it. If you have aftershock 4, use it. I just made a quick aftershock 2 just to showcase that you don't need the extra damage from all of the perks to get it done. But everything that you see on the robe top and robe bottom is a mandatory setup to be able to make this a fully AFKable method. As for the relic powers, you will need the Fury of the Smalls, Persistent Rage, and Death Ward. Persistent Rage is the mandatory one out of these 3 to make this an AFKable method to where you don't have to run back and gain adrenaline. You want to make sure you have full adrenaline before every single fight, and Persistent Rage does that for you. Now, if you've never been to the Heart of Gilienor, all you have to do is run south from Al-Kharid, go through the bandit camp, hop over the bridge, and run east towards the entrance to the Heart of Gilienor. You can see the entrance on the map that I am showing you right now. Now, before you can actually take on and start an instance with Vindicta and Gorvek, you will need a 40 Zerosian kill count unless you have the reputation unlocked, which cuts it in half down to 20. Now, once you have your gear and your inventory all set up, then you're going to run back to the Heart of Gilienor. You're going to traverse through the first barrier. Now, you want to pay attention here because sometimes your conjures do get summoned on the other side of the barrier, and all you have to do is just unequip one of your tier 90 weapons and just re-equip it, since once you start an instance, they will get stuck behind the barrier for your first kill, which you will most likely die from. Now, once that's all set, you get everything activated. You're going to activate your Penance Aura. You're going to activate one of your Potion Reservoirs, throw an Elder Overload Salve in there. You're going to activate all of your curses, and then you're going to hit your Animate Dead spell, so that is prepped. Then you're just going to run into the middle where Vindicta gets spawned, and you just let the Revo Bar do all of the work. As for the Revo Bar, we're going to be using Conjure Army, Command Ghost, Touch of Death, Command Skeleton, Soul Sap, Touch of Death, and Volley of Souls. As for the Conjure Undead Army, we will be using all 4 conjures for that ability. This Revo Bar is mainly going to help you keep alive because of your Command Ghost, and your Command Skeleton is in here to do much more damage over time. Now, we have Finger of Death at the very end because it's the only ability that will use any type of adrenaline, and it does deal a massive amount of damage, and that is why we have the Occultist Ring for that extra chance for necrosis stacks, so we can try to unleash the Finger of Death as much as possible. I like to talk about the gear setup that we currently have, explaining the Cripploom pieces that we have on our gear. Now, if you have 3 pieces on, you get a magic damage reduction by 12% for having 2 pieces on, and melee damage reduced by 8. Now, if you have 3, you have an additional 6% reduction to magic and an additional 4% to melee, and that does come in clutch with the smoke, and since Vindicta and Gorvek do hit with melee a lot. I'm only pointing this out to let you guys know that Ganodermic or any other tank magic armor will not work with this method, since you need the passive from the Cripploom armor. Now, you can expect easily around 50 plus kills per hour doing this method. Now, for the expenses, which does include your Ectoplasm, your Elder Overload Salves, and your Ruins for your Animate Dead, along with all the background stuff like your Divine Charges for the perks and the augmented gear, along with making the Potion Reservoirs, you're expecting to spend around 1.2 million GP for an hour at Vindicta and Gorvek. Now, after doing an hour at Vindicta, I got about 2.7 million GP out of the normal drops. That is going without saying. You can get the rare drops as well, which their drop table is not too bad when you have a higher reputation. I also forgot to go grab the dragon bones that were sent off to the ritual site storage bin, and the large plated ruin salvages that your spring cleaner does take care of doing this method. So all in all, with everything put together, you're looking at about 2.8 million GP per hour AFKing Vindicta and Gorvek. But that does come an end to this video. If you guys found anything interesting or useful, make sure to hit that like button. If you guys are brand new to the channel and would like to see more AFK methods like this towards bossing, make sure to hit that sub button, hit the notification bell so you guys know when I upload next. But until next time, guys, I hope you stay safe. See ya.